As some of you may have noticed or may have been wondering about, if you're used to seeing me there, I have been on a bit of a Facebook fast for the last month or so. Kind of gone back to 2008 in my life, before that really existed as a central piece of how we express ourselves, or many of us do. I just needed a break. I needed a break from the bad news and the algorithm that is designed to make sure you're furious when you're done scrolling. I needed a break from some of the bad people that I encounter on Facebook that make my stomach turn and that I didn't have the energy to fight anymore. I needed a break from the narcotic aspect of Facebook, the part that keeps you coming back even though you don't really want to, and there's nothing really productive about it. And like a narcotic, I don't want to overstate it, but in the first couple of days of taking this break, I experienced some version of withdrawal, like a tic. Like I kept having to pull out my phone and do what my fingers had been used to doing for 15 years, was to check that blue square and see what had been posted since the last time I checked 19 seconds before. We'll see if I maintain this fast. I know that I should. I don't know if I will. I know that I should. I probably won't, but I know that I should. And the question, can I post this? It's become one of the most common human questions that is living in the background noise and consciousness of so many billions of human beings who live through social media, whether it's Facebook or something else. On some level, the social media era is resolving, and I don't think in a good way, a Buddhist paradox about time that I like to think about all the time, pun intended. The Buddhist paradox goes like this. On the one hand, they would say that there's really no such thing as the present tense. Because the instant that you think that you have captured the present tense and are meditating on it, you're actually already microseconds past the moment that you thought you had captured. And you're always looking back at the moment that you thought you were in. And so the present tense is elusive. It's like trying to hold onto air. It doesn't really exist. A human being doesn't have the true capacity to capture the actuality of now, of the present tense. The other side of the Buddhist paradox is that they would say that the only thing that really exists is the present tense, right? The past happened and it will not happen again. We can remember it, we can recall it. Every time we recall it, we change it unconsciously. It doesn't really have a substance, the past. It's just things that happened. And no matter how good of a prognosticator or prophet you think you are, it is literally impossible to predict a single moment in the future. The future does not exist on a significant level. And so we live toggling back and forth between those two possibilities, that there's no such thing as the present tense, and there's only the present tense. Facebook and social media's resolution to that is that there is no present tense. There's only the frenzy to package this present tense into something that can be curated and posted and shared and laughed about or argued about. And for whom? For what? For posterity? Is someone going to read my post in 150 years? For the endorphin rush of the likes? How many times have I been in a baseball stadium and missed a play because I was trying to capture the play in such a way that I could post it on Facebook that people would be impressed by? How many sunsets have I posted about but didn't really watch and certainly didn't bless? Can I post this? It's a central and problematic human question these days. This young man named Eli Lerner, he's a college student studying at a very small college near Death Valley. And he did some writing recently that I came upon. And where he's studying, it's kind of away from everything. And he describes about how he lives out there. He begins to understand how dense and how crude and how pressured city life and social media life is. In Los Angeles, he would say, I'm kind of putting words in his mouth, it seems there is no present tense. But out there in the desert, all there is an immediate and awesome sense of now. These are his words. Because people spend significantly less time together. Parks are empty. Sidewalks are bare. yet lights remain bright in each little house. We lack so many shared moments, so we try to build mutual histories by recounting stories to each other instead of living through them together. End quote. I think it's a brutal and accurate accusation against this cultural moment. And he goes on, quote, "For me, I can't focus on the objects in front of me because I'm already trying to eulogize them." Amazing turn of phrase. He continues, "It feels like I simply collect anecdotes and then spend the rest of my time sorting through my musty collection." He's got enormous wisdom for a young man. And he concludes, stop collecting moments and start living in them. Now, our ancient liturgists who gave us this machzor, they could not have predicted this era on any level. They could not have known about this technology. They could not have foreseen this inability to be present. But they sowed our machzor that we're going to be living in and praying from for many hours the next few days with reminders of not just how to live, but when to live. And their answer was hayom, today. No single word suffuses the Rosh Hashanah Musaf service more than that word. After each blowing of the shofar in Musaf, we sing hayom. At the end of Musaf, we say hayom ta'amsenu. Today, God, strengthen us. The machzor keeps reminding us the only thing important today is today. The only thing real now is now. The text pounds that message into our minds, maybe because the authors knew that we would forget it so quickly. There's a game my family used to play we haven't played in a while. It's called In the Manner of the Adverb. Has anyone ever heard that? Is that an East Coast thing? Raised not a single hand in the manner of the adverb? Maybe my family invented it and didn't tell me. It's a Kligfeld game. It's a doozy. Okay? It's kind of a parlor game. And the game goes that someone is sent out of the room, and the people who are still in the room choose an adverb. Let's call it wildly, right? Or happily. And the person comes back in and has to guess what adverb we've chosen. How? By giving us commands and telling us to do something in the manner of the adverb. Say good morning to me in the manner of the adverb. And so if it was wildly, it'd say good morning, right? And it goes like that. And it's very embarrassing to be the one who can't figure out the adverb. I was once playing this game on a shul trip 20 years ago to Israel, with my former congregation, in a hotel in Sfat. I remember this moment like it was yesterday. And I was the one who was sent out. Bad choice on my part. I come back in, and it goes on and on. We're half an hour into this, and I cannot figure out. I think of every single word I know in the English language that ends in an ly, because you learn in school that adverbs end in ly. I gave up. I had never given up on anything, certainly not in a game. I gave up. And the word, I'm still annoyed by this, the word that they had chosen as the adverb was the word now. Because even though it's the case that most adverbs end in ly, technically, grammatically, now is an adverb because it modifies an action in time. They were correct. I was stumped. I lost. But it's perfect right now. It should modify all of our actions right now. It should be the Yamim Noraim, the Rosh Hashanah adverb. Let's start this season now. Let's pray this season now. Let's focus this season now. Let's love each other through this season now. Let's lean into amazement and possibility now. Hayom, today. The great poet Mary Oliver wrote, "When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it is over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world." So let's grab this moment and this season right now. Shana Tova.